Hello, this is Lucas and welcome back to another Java tutorial. So in this video we will go over what recursion is and how to use it. The first step in learning what recursion is we have to understand what methods are. So if you don't know how methods work in Java, I have a couple of videos explaining how they work, and if you would like to go and watch them just to learn a bit better, or there are a lot of resources available online. Now recursion can be difficult to understand for beginners. My best tip is to go and experiment there, or to go and practice it yourself. But in this video I will go over it just to help you just to understand a bit better. So firstly, what is recursion? Recursion is a technique used of making a function call itself. It provides a way to break complicated tasks down into smaller tasks which are a bit easier to solve. So the example that we'll be using is adding a sum of numbers together. Now adding two numbers together or 3 or 4 can be simple enough to do, but if we have like a very big amount of numbers to add, it can be a bit time consuming and a bit more complicated. But that's why we have recursion. So I'm going to create myself a method, and this method is going to be used to call itself. Firstly, we have to create ourselves a method, so we're going to do public static. We will be returning ourselves an int, and we'll just name a sum. And we have to pass in a parameter. I'll just pass in I. So now once this method is created, we need to give a few if conditions. So we're going to do if I is greater than 0, else we're going to just return 0. Like this. Now in here, we're going to return I plus, we're going to be calling this method again, so sum, and we're going to do k minus 1, or I minus 1, like this. Now, the way this works is, let's say we call this method here, and we pass in the parameter 10. What's going to happen here is, we are going to check, firstly, if that number that we passed in is bigger than 0. So if it is bigger than 0, we will return I, whatever value we have, and we will add it to this value here. So just for example, let's say we pass in. So I'm going to make myself a new int, and this will be just the result. And I'll equal this to the sum, and we'll just pass in 10. And then I'll just print this out. Now if we run this, you can see we get the value 55, because what this did is, it added all numbers in the range of 10. So it will add 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it will add 10. And then we will get the output right here. So, but the way though it works, now this can be a bit complicated, so I'll try to phrase it as easy as I can. So the very first time that we call this method, we will pass in 10. So I will be equal to 10. Okay, now I will do a few comments. It will be a bit easier to understand. So let's say we have 10. So we pass in the number 10 in this method here. So I is 10. We will firstly check if I is greater than 0. So it is, 10 is greater than 0. And then what we will do is, we will return I, so we will return 10, plus, we will call this method again, and we will pass in I minus 1. So we will pass in I minus 1, which is 9, and you can see that we are adding these two numbers together. So we will just add 10 and 9. Now, this will get called in again, because we are calling this number, but now instead of us putting in the number 10, which we put in here, we are putting in the number 9, because we have 10 here, and we just minus 1, so it's 9. And then we will do this again, because we are calling this exact same function inside of this function. So now I becomes 9. We will check if 9 is greater than 0, it is, and then we will return 9, plus we will call this method again, and we will pass in 9 minus 1, which is 8. which means then we will just add a. And this will continue to go on. So then it will add 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we will also add 0. Now actually we will not be adding 0 because we have greater than. So that's the way recursion works. We will just keep calling this method until this condition is no longer true. Now once we get to 0, so let's say we are on 1, we will add 1, and then this here, because we have 1 here, we will minus 1, so then we will call this method, but I will be 0. And then we'll check, okay, well 0 is not greater than 0, so this is false, so then we will just return the 0, and when we return the 0, these will all be false, and then we will get the result stored here, which is 55, and then we'll just print it out. So that's the way recursion works. It's just calling the method over and over again until a condition is no longer true, and then we return 0, which means then all of the methods that we called will be placed into here, and the result will be 55 because we added all these numbers together. So that's the way recursion works. My piece of advice is to go and experiment it by yourself. It might be a bit harder to understand. It's easy enough listening to somebody, but I think it'd be better if you went over and tried this yourself. But I hope this video helped. I did have a bit of problems when I was learning recursion, so I hope this video has helped. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.